episode of Adding Perspective with Josh. I'm Josh.
Coach Nrgy.
Aphrodite.
I'm Emmanuel.
All right. So this week we're going to talk about a subject that we've already talked about previously, but I think we need to put add a little bit more context to this particular topic. So we're going to talk about how social media affects individuals' idea of relationships. And that's basically going down the whole platform: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, those other questionable ones, how that affects people's idea of relationships. And like I said, for me in that particular topic, everybody's idea of relationship sometimes could be born from, relationships they've seen in their lives, like family, friends, parents. But, most times it's based off of what you see, like TV, social media, or even in music, right? Like you see, I guess, ideas of what I guess relationships should be. So I guess when it comes to relationships, how should that look? Is there like a way that relationships should be viewed? Like, should it be viewed through social media eyes, or should it be like, left up to how you want your relationship to look or be? Like, what do you think?
It needs to be left up to how the people in that relationship need it to be to work for them, in my opinion.
I mean, I would say that too. But why do you think that social media has such a big impact on relationships?
Because to me, you have a lot of people who seek validation through social media, or a lot of people who are unhappy in their relationships, so they seek social media to find happiness, to find another person or other people to try to connect with, in order to fill a void of some sort, either within the relationship or within them personally.
I mean, I would see that too. But have you noticed that, and this is not everybody, but for some people, you get into a relationship and the first thing that you do is you go log on to your social media account and change your social media status. Yeah. So I'm in a relationship. like is that like a stamp of approval or something like that? Like your status changed or something like that?
Well, I think from what I've seen, and some people require for you to do that in order to, I guess, say that their relationship is like valid. Like, I have known people to get really upset with their mate because they didn't validate them on social media.
Yeah. That sounds
like Insecurities. I had to say it, Josh. I had to say it. Sounds like Insecurities.
Like, I've been in like certain conversations, and the mate have got mad because like they didn't post them enough, or all kind of crazy stuff just for social media. Like, it's crazy, but yeah, a lot of people look for that validation conversation on social media.
Yeah, I just think that's strange. Like, it is, because I mean, sometimes it's the first thing that people go to. Like, you don't go tell your friends, you don't go tell your mama, you don't go tell nobody else, but you tell Instagram. Like, my status has changed. Like, it's changed. I'm in a relationship. And it's kind of weird that, like, for those, and I'm not sure, and everybody doesn't do that, but for those that do, it's like, if your relationship is stuck in that cycle of social media, like, even when you have conflict in your relationship, you playing out your conflict online.
Yep.
Like, you start seeing, like, memes and stuff like that about the stuff that you're going through. You had an argument, you got somebody fighting me, just rolling down your stuff. Like, you tagging people and stuff like that. I'm like, is this a real thing? Like people do their relationships on social media, and that's like true. That's crazy to me. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, I've never been in a relationship like that, but if I was, I would be scratching my head the whole time, like the whole entire time, because to me it doesn't make sense to, I guess, let the world dictate how your relationship should go.
Right. I'm such a private person. I could not take that. Like, every time we have a disagreement about something, you have to go and post about it. Come on. I'm very mindful of when I'm meeting a person, and as a potential suitor, as a potential partner, if they're heavy into social media, it's already like, probably not. It's not going to work out, because if you live your life on social media and I live my life off social media, we're already, seeing, we're already not meeting, we're not connecting in that on that same page. We're not on the same page. So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I just subtracted 2% from that person. I'm like, yep, that's 2%. You just minus that. Like, you just went down a level. Okay,
you got 18% left. There's only 20.
You got a demerit.
But that's the thing, though, right? Like, it's hard, especially, I guess, now where social media is such a big influence. Like, It is. And then when you look at, and there's so many different ways to look at it. So you can look at it from a dating standpoint, look at it from, just strictly relationship standpoint or whatever, or relationship/marriage standpoint. And it's kind of hard to determine, like, is social media and the impact of social media, is it worse when you're dating or is it worse when you're married? Or would you consider it being worse when you're dating someone, or would you consider it being worse when you're married to somebody? Like, just hypothetical, right? Which one would you think would be worse?
Probably marriage.
I was gonna say dating. That's a good question.
I would hope.
And it could be both, really.
Yeah.
In all honesty, because it depends on it depends on the two people that's in that relationship.
Exactly.
You was about to say something down here. What you got?
In my mind, I would think that to a degree, the social media activity should decrease a bit as a married party. Outside of just pure platonic relationships with friends and things like that. I would like to think that activity should decrease a bit, which would lead me to then believe that dating would probably be the harder.
That's where I was going with that. Yeah.
That's assuming that, activity decreases. Now, if it doesn't decrease, then okay, well, we got some concerns, as married, as a married party. But I'm hoping that it would decrease, and then that would make it more of a concern with the dating.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're saying activity should decrease when you're married?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
It depends. Now, this is also assuming that a lot of activity that goes on social media may not always be respectful of a relationship, right? Whether you're liking certain pictures, commenting on certain things, like all of these things can be tracked. They can be viewed, monitored, sending certain messages to people. All of that is activity. So if you're married, if you're marrying someone, some of this activity that I'm assuming typical people indulge in should decrease. So that's where I'm saying that as a married person, the activity should drop a bit. I mean, there may be people who are 100% platonic on social media. Okay, that may exist. Okay,
it does exist.
It does exist. So that's good to know. I did not know that. Just full transparency. But it does exist. I don't think those people are in great quantity. I could be wrong there as well, but assuming that 100% platonic behavior is what a social media account or how a social media account is being used, then completely no issue when it comes to that being a concern from a married party. But on the other end, assuming that there is some activity that may not be respectful to a relationship, I'm thinking that activity should decrease.
Okay. I mean, I honestly, I'm agreeing with Aphrodite over here. To be fair,
Okay.
You know, there are some interactions on social media that are strictly platonic, like they are.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That's not business account.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not saying
100%.
I'm not saying it don't exist. I'm saying that if we,
It exists.
I'm saying it's not norm. It's not the norm.
Oh my
So that would
God.
mean
According to who?
if we found 10 random people, then we could say that norm would be 7 to 8. So 7 to 8 would not have any activity, or 7 to 8 would have activity involving non-platonic relations.
Okay.
This is normal. So normal would be 70 to 80%, in my opinion.
Okay.
So that means 2 out of 3, 2 to 3.
That's why it's the Emmanuel with his perspective, because
you know, we can do some back testing, Josh. In our next episode, we can let you guys know. But I don't have numbers to support this, but 2 to 3 of those people may be 100% platonic, but I'm banking on that 7 to 8 not being so.
yeah. Good to know.
It is. You know, we might have to fact check that one later, but you know,
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
Yes, you're gonna get the percentage. Get it out there. Let the people know.
But honestly, that actually brings up a valid concern, though, because when you look at, you know, committed relationships and the people that you bring into these relationships via social media and stuff like that, social media activity, some people's social media activity is a little questionable. Like it is, especially depending on who's on their timeline and stuff like that. It can look a little suspect. So, I mean, I can kind of see a little bit of what Emmanuel said. Do I 100% agree? Probably not. But I'm just saying, like, I just think that whenever you do enter into a committed relationship with someone, that's not saying that your individual life should stop or anything like that. It just means that you have to start a new set of boundaries.
Right.
So that means that any questionable material that you did have on your social media account needs to be removed. Like you need to go ahead and take it off and just put it in the corner somewhere, right? You can still keep your social media and stuff like that. It's just that you got to respect the person that you're with.
100%. It's a process that I call clean house. When you meet someone and y'all are coming into a relationship, you decided, okay, we've gotten to know each other, we're ready to take that next step and make it official. Automatically, you should start cleaning house instead of like waiting for the other person to have to ask or bring it up, or something happens and then something becomes an issue between the two of you and within the relationship. Like, just let it be automatic. Clean house. However, let me tell you this, you wouldn't have to clean house if you lived a lifestyle that to where you didn't have to make all of those types of adjustments and changes. If you live the way, as a single person, if you live the lifestyle of being prepared or being ready to be in a relationship, exactly like, you wouldn't have to go through all of these changes and then feeling as if your partner is trying to make you change. Oh man. Okay.
Good. This is good. This is good stuff. You're on fire. There's smoke behind you. Behind that chair. You're on fire tonight, boy.
But do you understand? You see what I'm saying, though? Emmanuel, do you get it? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. It's right on the money. I agree 100%. And clean house is what generally should happen in those cases where people may not have been living that life in preparation, right?
Exactly.
And yeah, I agree everything 100%.
Oh, I agree too. I just know that it doesn't happen. Like that's the thing. I would agree, but it's like sometimes individuals, once they enter into a committed relationship, they wait. Like you wait. You wait to find out what those boundaries are, right?
Like how far can you go? How much can you get away with?
Or how real is this? How solid is this going to be? People
Right.
Don't
Do I need to keep my people in my back pocket just in case?
Yeah.
People don't like locking that back door.
No. They don't want to get rid of.
Yeah.
That's a bad feeling for a lot of people now. Okay.
Yes.
But that's the thing. That's what happens, though. Like, for the majority of folks that do that, that's what happens. And then subsequently, when you do that, something happens where, you like a pic, or somebody, subsequently DMs you that are still friends with you, or whatever the case may be, and oops, you in trouble because of the fact that you left them on there. Like, that's basically what it is.
So my question is, so when we clean the house, does that mean, like, just so the people could be clear, does that mean like anybody you was talking to in the past, they can't be on your page? Like, how does that work when you're cleaning house?
So, in my opinion, what cleaning house looks like is removing any potential influences that may not benefit your relationship, right? Now, or I have a rule, my personal rule when it comes to relationships. If it's something that your partner would not be comfortable with seeing, it's not respectful to the relationship, it should be removed. So if you wouldn't do that right in front of your partner's face, if you wouldn't entertain that right in front of your partner's face, it should probably be removed. So that's what cleaning house looks like. Preparing your home to respect that of another individual that you are now planning to bring into your home and in respect. So that's my view of cleaning house.
And to add to that, doing things or removing things or stopping behavior that you wouldn't like your partner doing to you either.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Cleaning house is hard, and like Josh said, it rarely ever really happens in its entirety.
It doesn't at all. Yeah, it doesn't at all. I think that honestly, when it comes to like some relationship, would you consider removing like ex-girlfriends or boyfriends?
That's what I was asking.
From your clean house list. Is that like something that gets cleaned out too, or is it like you leave those people on there?
For me, I will. It's just out of respect. Like if we're not together anymore, things about me personally, we've been intimate together. Like, I don't want you in my life now that I'm moving forward, trying to create a future with my new partner, and you're there with us. So I'm bringing my past with me into this new relationship. And then it's just out of respect for for my partner, my significant other. Like, it's okay. Like, some people you don't have to keep every single person with you throughout your entire life. It's okay to let some people go.
Yeah, it is. But I think that subject right there is a mixed bag of issues.
It is.
Because some people seem to think that you can be friends with your ex and keep them on social media.
You can.
Yeah, you can. I'm not saying that you can. You can.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
You could be friends with your ex, and they could be on social media. You yourself need to know your boundary. Once you respect your boundary, they're gonna respect your boundary. Mm-hmm. That's without a doubt. Regardless, if I know who I am, it don't matter how much we was in a relationship back when. But not to be DMing me. Not to be up there trying to comment all up under my page, all that old dumb stuff that people do. You know what I'm saying? Being disrespectful, because it is disrespectful. Then we already know, where our boundaries lie. And that's the God and it's true. You know where your boundaries lie. It's a boundary you have to set between that. Now that whole, we friends, but we around here DMing each other, sneaking around. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real boundaries paid by a platonic relationship. And that's it.
I heard that.
You're so silly. No, 100%. Like it for a lot of people, they do keep people around. It doesn't mean, that it can't happen. So I'll just speak for myself, or when I was speaking earlier, I was speaking for myself. Like when I'm moving on, I'm moving on. Doesn't mean that I hate you. Doesn't mean we have bad blood, none of that. But I'm just going to move on. And I want to start with a clean slate. And I want to do that for the man that's in my life. I'm doing it out of respect for him and hoping that he will also appreciate that respect and that he will do it for me as well. That's it.
Okay. Like all those points that you guys said are valid points. Like it is. I think that this thing with social media and how it affects people's lives and relationships, it ain't going away. Like it's really not. It's probably gonna get worse as time goes on. Because, like I said, it's new. It's too much new information out there, and it's so relatively easy to put your life out there like that, like it is. So I think that with that whole social media thing, I think boundaries have to be set, and I guess communication all the way through your relationship about social media has to be done. Because having a conversation about social media once in the beginning, it's probably not enough. Like it's not, okay? Like you need to continually have that conversation with certain people, especially if you have a person that has a different personality about social media. Like you can't just address it once and then not address it anymore. And that does not mean argue about it per se, but that does be like, okay, where are we at on this particular subject? And just have an open dialogue about it, because it's not anything that you want to, totally try to control somebody because they like social media.
Right.
Exactly.
Not
That's
trying
how
What was that?
I said not trying to control anyone.
Nope. Right. That's why it's important to find someone who doesn't put that much value. If you yourself are not someone who puts a lot of value and time into social media, then it will be best to find someone else who is also like that, or similar to that, or close to being like that. Yeah,
because if it's a person that consistently posts on a daily basis, they might post, they say whatever they post, you know what I'm saying? Not saying they got to be something disrespectful, then you're going to always have a problem with it. Mm-hmm. Always.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true. That's good stuff.
Yeah. So my question is, can having a social media influence benefit a relationship?
Sure, if it's a long distance, possibly. Yeah. I'm sure there are ways of how it can, if it's used appropriately, and if it's not used for entertaining people outside of your relationship, if it's just another method of communication that the two people in that relationship have added to how they communicate, or to the various ways of how they can communicate. It can be, because I do my best to not speak in absolutes. I do my best to not say, oh yeah, absolutely no, it can't, because I'm sure some people, some relationships, depending on their extenuating circumstances, where social media may be that thing that's holding them together, or that's helping them, stay up to date with each other. Again, to me, it may really benefit in a long distance relationship. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think also sometimes people need outlets, right? So you're in a relationship, but if you don't have an outlet, that can be damaging to a relationship as well. So for those people who may not have outlets outside of their partner, social media could be beneficial in that it kind of gives them an outlet to breathe, to enjoy friends or whatever that may look like outside of their immediate relationship, because that can really start wearing on people who may not have outlets. And I've also seen couples do social media accounts together, all types of things like that on social media, and that's empowering to the relationship for sure. So that's a key example of a way that it could benefit a relationship, because I'm sure their relationship is just getting stronger through all those experiences that they're having on social media together. So that's definitely a way that I think it can benefit.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
And then even so, being in the personal development and services industry, it could benefit as well by the couple having access to, information like this, content like this, coaches, therapists, when people post their videos online or on social media, rather, they have access to that and they can pick up some good tips, some good strategies, things that they can implement in their relationship that can help improve their relationship. So sure.
Okay. So how can social media hurt relationships?
How much time we got?
That's right.
Exactly.
The cons of social media.
Cons of social media.
Cons of social media.
Plenty of them.
Well, one, you start comparing. If you compare your partner with what you see online, IG models or guys who are in the gym with their shirts off all the time, when you start comparing, that's a con.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest con right there. Even just comparing quality of relationships, right? So you see someone who's always happy with their significant other, and you start thinking that if y'all have an argument, your relationship's just solid. You got a bad relationship because y'all had an argument or whatever that looks like, because you're seeing, how people are portraying there. So I think the comparison, umbrella, is so big, but that's the real issue with social media. It just gives so many different, designed views of what it seems like your relationship should look like. And it's
right.
That's
that is so true. I agree with, Emmanuel and Nrgy, because comparison is like, oh my God, so he went and bought her a new car. Why my husband didn't buy me a new car? You don't even know the half of whatever going on in their relationship. People just post whatever they're gonna post, but a lot of time people don't post their real truths on there. You know what I'm saying? They just post something. I'm not saying they just supposed to get a like, but they don't post the real truth. A lot of people are not posting their struggles.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. I think it's more of a false sense of reality.
Yes, and it can give a person a very false sense of reality. And people don't understand that. They don't understand you have to really cut it off. You really have to cut it off. You need time to deflect from that, to just come off of social media, especially if you are a type of person that always saying the same stuff consistently over and over again, and then you and your mate start having problems, and then you coming to your mate, well, Sally was over here doing so and so and so and so forth, and it's like, I'm not Sally. So why are we even talking about Sally? Sally ain't even in a relationship.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, I see a whole bunch of insecurities and trust issues being created by social media.
They already had them, but it enhanced them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It does. Like I said, if a person has those types of things, like you were saying, Aphrodite, trust issues or any types of insecurities,
it enhances it. It makes it worse.
Especially if you're in a relationship, possibly. You might not want to look at social media or your partner's account anytime soon.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
That's the truth about me. I'm about to be 100%. I will block you. If I'm not, you will be blocked.
Never.
Wait, your partner?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna block your partner?
What?
You're gonna block your partner?
What?
I'll just make sure you heard me. Oh, okay.
No, I heard you loud and clear. Get on my social media page with that foolishness. No. You dealing with insecurities. If you already dealing with insecurity and trust issues, and then you turn around and you be on people's social media page looking out through their friends. Oh my God. So Rod liked her yesterday. He liked her picture 10 days ago. People, it is amazing how people with insecurities and distrust would like go down your timeline and be looking at everything. Oh, Dustin over there ain't never liked the pit before, so Dustin must be new. So that means Dustin talking to you. Like, it is crazy. It is crazy. It's crazy, but it's true. People go through some real things with that distrust and being insecure on social media. It's called block. We can't be friends. Not on social media.
I agree with Aphrodite. It gets bad. It gets bad.
It gets bad. It really does.
It gets bad. So I agree. If you got trust issues, stay away from social media. 100%.
Stay away. Like, don't do it. You know, y'all just don't even friend each other at all. Like, don't do it.
But is that healthy though? Is that healthy for the relationship? Like, that's my only quorum about this whole thing. I get it, but is that healthy for the relationship to progress?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the people in the relationship. Can it work? Yes. Can it be healthy? Yes. You wanna know why? Because they have no access to the foolishness. So they can keep moving and whatever else, and they can have to deal with their insecurity issues. Your partner being on social media should not be affected by you because you're insecure and you don't know how to handle your own business. You don't know how to handle your insecurities. That's unfair to your partner.
But is that healthy in the long term? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, that's my question. Like, is it healthy? It may be a quick fix. It may be a temporary fix, but is that getting to the underlying root of whatever the actual issue is? Like, why not actually deal with it? Let's talk about it. Let's go to therapy for it. Let's figure out what the actual issue is instead of just saying, you know what, you're insecure, I'm going to block you, versus, you know what, you're feeling a certain kind of way about this. Let's talk. Talk to me. Explain to me what's going on.
I'm not saying the first moment it happens, that's what you do. That's not what I'm saying. We can address it. We can have a conversation. But if it continues, then you know, you as that person, you on that social media page and you don't have time. Like, I don't know about nobody else, but I personally wouldn't have the time to keep entertaining the insecurity in you for a social media page. Like, I just wouldn't have that time. Have I blocked the person before? I have. For probably about 2 years. Until they came around to their little senses to understand, because that's not how she handled her page. So you have to understand, like, you have to get an understanding about that thing. And if it's too much, yes. You know, but we could talk about it outside of social media because it don't need to be on social media, first of all. So we could talk about it. If we need to go to counseling about it or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's that person's decision with that insecurity and distrust to address their issues.
Yes, that's true. If it is an issue within the person themselves that they may not have gotten over prior to your relationship with them, or if it's something that they're bringing in like emotional baggage, experiences with their past partners, 100%, yes, they need to deal with that and get help with that. However, for me, I can't agree with handling an issue like that, because your partner, for me, you've got to take care of your partner's heart above all else. For me, I'm not going to choose social media.
So you telling me you taking care of my heart by all my social media accounts, going through my account. Oh, you know, Dustin liked you yesterday. Who's Dustin? I don't even know Dustin. Oh, Dustin is that guy they liked you on 5 days ago, 20 years ago. Like, come on. You're not taking care of my heart. You're not seeing about me. You're seeing about you. And you're not taking care of my heart because you're not taking care of yourself. Because you're not addressing your self insecurities. You're not addressing your distress. You're not addressing it. So you're not taking care of me. So let me take care of me. Let me block you. And then we go from there. Because clearly you don't understand this communication we got going on. This is affecting me. When you go on my social media account and you tell me that Dustin is liking my page, I don't know, whoever Dustin is, because anybody can follow you in all that kind of foolishness now, unless you got a real private page. Let's just be honest. People look at your stuff, you do reels, you do all kind of stuff, and they just like, oh yeah, she look fine. Yeah, let's like her page. Okay, so it's a new person. Dustin pops up. he likes your page. And then, you know, you got this distrustful person over here. You got this insecure person over here that's like, oh, I'm gonna see how many times this gonna like a page. Like, they're not saying about themselves. And that's unfair to that partner to every time you turn around, have to keep addressing because somebody liked the pic. That's unfair to them. That is not cool.
Yeah, no, I completely.
Then you got to keep going through the conversation on why they like your pic. I know my Instagram. I don't know half the people on my Instagram. Half of them. I could probably. I don't know half of them on my Instagram. So they like my pic. What am I supposed to say? Oh, I know. I don't know them. And now I probably don't know the rest of them on my Facebook, being that I made it public. Like, I don't know a whole lot of people on my stuff. And when I do like my early morning conversations and stuff, like they like that foolishness. Like, I be like, okay, that's cool. So if I'm with a person that don't have trust and insecure, they're gonna have an issue with that.
Yeah, I get it. I completely
get it. You can't control like people in your DMs. Like, people do dumb stuff and we know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people do like, oh, I'm about to go in her DM and tell her, hey, no, that's not what we're doing. But you gotta have a trust, and you gotta have trust in your partner to know that they gonna handle that. Like, we're not going to DMs. That's not what your partner gonna do. But if you're too insecure and you don't have no trust, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, I agree. Both people need to take care of each other's hearts. They need to be very sensitive to the other person and how certain things, certain actions will affect the other. I'm just big on getting to the root of whatever the issue is, instead of creating a temporary Band-Aid or whatever, just because it's still in the back of somebody's mind. It's still something
my thing is, I don't know, my blocks are gonna be temporary. So it depends on the person.
So with the summary of this, we do gotta summarize this right quick, right?
Oh, we do? Oh, let's summarize.
We gotta summarize this right quick. Because a whole bunch of key points have been made, okay? Like, especially when we talk about cons and stuff like that. We went down the whole list of cons. And to me, just from a summary standpoint, I think that social media and its effects on how relationships tend to go, I think that people need to be mindful of that effect. I don't think people are as mindful of it as they should be. I think that it's such a normal thing for folks now that it's part of your everyday life. So when you get into a relationship, you don't even think about it. Like, you don't even think about the fact that I got, 20,000 followers on social media, and then I'm still posting now that I'm in a relationship, and how they're gonna respond to. And you probably, again, like after I said, you probably don't even know half of these people, but you still gonna be living your relationship out on social media. So it's like, you do have to be mindful whenever you step into that next level of your relationship, that, okay, if I have all these other conversations with this person, I need to have the social media conversation too. So, summary. So what you guys got? What's your summarize? Let's go with you first, Nrgy. What you got?
Man. So, two main points. The first thing is, when you're getting to know someone, as you're going through that dating phase or whatever, have the discussion of social media. How important is it to you, or how important is it not to you? And really compare the lifestyles, the amount of engagement that each of you do or typically do on social media. Compare, what types of posts do you both typically, put out there, and just see if y'all are compatible with each other, or if it's going to create conflict. Because if one person is really big into keeping up with social media, growing their social media, and you're really not into it, that will come up eventually. So that's my first point. Second point is kind of goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier today. To me, well, let me just say this. Consider living a lifestyle as a single person of one that is conducive of the type of marriage or long-term relationship or whatever is your choice that you may want. That will help prevent the need or the feeling of someone's trying to make you change. Someone is not accepting you for who you are. If you live a lifestyle to where you don't have to do a lot of cleaning house, to where you don't have a whole line of people that it feels like, you may need to let go because it's not quite appropriate for them to continue moving forward with you now that you're in this new relationship, then just kind of consider, what type of lifestyle are you living, even as a single person. This is Coach Nrgy. These are my thoughts, and I'm done speaking. Whew.
Megan, what you got?
For me, I think the biggest takeaway for me is just to know what you want out of your relationship. I think that's the number one key going into the full conversation about social media. And I say that all the way down to just knowing what kind of woman you want. Not relying on those social media depictions or some of those profiles, knowing exactly what you want and not allowing that to be influenced. Being firm in your belief, firm in your opinions, your thoughts, and allowing that to kind of dictate the decisions you make in your relationship, for your relationship. So just know exactly what you want, be firm in that, and the effects of social media tend not to be as detrimental.
Okay. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Aphrodite, what you got?
So my thing is with social media is boundaries. Create those boundaries amongst each other. When y'all have that conversation. To me, I believe in social media. We're gonna have to have some type of social media etiquette. Just like everybody. That's just what I believe. Cleaning house. I believe in it. It's okay to do those type of things, and also know that you can be platonic in a relationship on social media. But it's a decision that you and your partner have to make with one another. And your personal business should not be on social media. That's a boundary that it should always be said. So social media is off limits when it comes down to our personal relationship, our personal business. That's me.
Okay. All right. So, great conclusion to another wonderful episode. Adding perspective with Josh. I'm Josh.
I'm Coach Nrgy.
I'm Aphrodite.
And I'm Emmanuel.
We're out.